Hi, welcome to another edition of the JAVAWUG. This video records BOF Birds of a Feather number 20. Emmanuel Okyere talks about the RIFE Framework yet again. And he especially talks about the work he did to port the classic J2EE reference application PetStore to RIFE. He provides a valuable overview of the process and illuminates many hints and tips, as well as allowing those of us seasoned JAVAWUG developers to understand the inner workings of RIFE. This presentation took place on the 13th of July 2006 at the Oracle City of London offices. Enjoy this one, especially from me.
And I'm a web developer, basically. And I've been using the RIFE Framework for a while now, for about 8 months. The RIFE Framework is a web application framework. It actually allows you to build other stuff apart from web apps, but it's mainly a web application framework that has a whole load of toolkits already implemented for you. It has a persistence layer that it comes built in with, but it allows you also to use all the other stuff out there. You can decide to use Hibernate if you want to, if you do not want to use what comes built in with RIFE. I wanted to basically play around with the framework a lot more, and so I decided to take the Sun Blueprints apps and then try to implement that with the RIFE framework, which is what I have sort of done, partly done. It's not all baked, but it's we can see some of the things that RIFE allows us to do if we take some time and then go through the code, which is what I intend to do. So I will start off by showing how this application is basically laid out.
If we use my remote mouse, you'll be able to sit here and do it.
Yeah, that would be cool. Now this file here, my main XML file, basically describes the web application we have here. The way RIFE works is you have a bunch of components, and then you sort of wire them together. RIFE as language allows you to wire components together. And then make them, participate in your web application, basically. So I have a bunch of components here. First one is the catalog, and it basically houses manages what we have in the shop. Product, you have items, you have the cart, you have cart items, you have a registration component, and so many other components basically that interact in the application. Now in RIFE speak, these are called elements. And so you put together a bunch of elements in your application, basically. What this element here is saying is that these are the path infos that are allowed to get to the web to get to that particular component.
So this is like a navigation language, is it?
Yes, RIFE allows you to control. You have total control on URLs, basically. From here. And so once you have defined your element or a component, and you can say how you get to it, all with that language.
How you enter.
How you actually access that component once it's up and running.
Right.
If I go back to the app, and then I do say a register. Okay. So that is mapped to
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And then I'll be registered.
The implementation is org.full.
personal user register.
What is that like? Is it an action form equivalent?
Yes, you have, well, so the idea in RIFE is you have these components defined, and then you have templates, which basically serve as the view of your component. Your templates are going to be just plain HTML or XML, whatever you have, but they're totally logicless. All the logic for your templates will have to be handled in some Java class.
Yep.
So that's what the implementation represents. So it allows you to basically process whatever inputs you're getting back, and then control what goes onto what gets displayed in your templates. So it's more like a controller and you know, everything
Display
together.
controller.
Yeah. We can see how that looks like. It's a really simple class. Full PetStore.
And you define your flow there as well.
You define the flow here. You can look at the XML file and then be able to see straight away how your application interacts. You can control it all from here. See how that looks like. Full PetStore. Registration is somewhere here.
What sort of site?
Yeah, that's what I'm looking
No,
for.
that's it.
Yeah.
Double click, Control Shift T.
It's laid out totally differently on my Mac, so
I've
Is
got.
yeah, it looks a bit different. I think I'm using, probably I can change that here.
I've got Emacs bindings. Probably that's probably what's.
Have you put Mylar on your Eclipse yet?
You know that control that allows you to see. This is sort of breaking them down. You can actually have like all the parts.
Yeah, they're compact.
Yeah.
You want to go into that is Package Explorer.
It is Package Explorer.
But you've got them as
Yeah, it'll probably be.
Oh right, you need to change the hierarchy
Yeah.
start to view it as package or.
Just looking. So on full user register.
yeah. There you go.
Okay. So can I pull this? So this is the element basically. Almost every component that you write would probably extend element. You don't have to. You can just implement the interface that element actually implements for you. But most of the time you will just want to extend element for all the components in your application. These are methods that are actually called by element itself, and so you can implement them. What you probably want to do is grab your template here, and all this does is actually pull your templates. Your HTML templates are actually compiled into Java code.
Alright.
And so when you control them, it spits them back out basically for you. What I'm doing here is just grabbing that which maps to some string down there, and it's basically the name of my template. I will grab that from the class path, not from the application path. This is how it looks like. HTML. Do I have a source template somewhere? Yeah. So this is my register HTML class file. These are actually RIFE specific tags. So what you have here allows you to include another file or another resource in the class path in here. So this pulls in base core, which is another HTML file, has generic stuff that are used across the site.
So dollar curly bracket is actually a tag, like an insertion, isn't it?
That's JSTL syntax, isn't it?
Yeah, kind of like they are.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
code
it.
braces JSTL.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just thought we used
Yeah.
velocity markup.
Yeah.
There are actually about 4 different ways you can do it
Yeah.
now. So you can use there's one syntax that allows you to use stuff like comments. So it's RIFE specific syntax, but it's
So you
it's
use
basic.
Dreamweaver or something and
Yeah.
still visualize what's
Yeah.
right.
Mhm.
Yeah, but this will still look okay in your browser.
So this template is compiled into.
Into a Java class, so you will have an awk-foo register user
Just like
register
JSP.
class somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. This here is the registration form. Actually, let's see here. And so that's getting included in here, and it's pulling this. So it follows a path here. That's registration form, and you have a bunch of other stuff going in. What RIFE has its own validation toolkit implemented already, and so it allows you to embed have those things as part of your templates, and once you've sent a submission, it will validate that if based on very simple rules. We'll see. If it finds errors, it will spit them back to you, and you can use these markers to show your error messages or whatever you want to show on the client.
So that's a diff layer for the label, and then a diff layer for errors. Or
Well, yeah, you don't have to use diffs, but it's just trying to get
okay.
a totally tableless
Yeah.
design going on, the whole CSS tableless design thing. So
It's not going to happen.
say again.
It won't happen.
It's a pain, no?
It's a pain in the ass.
Your candid camera. Okay, so it's just a regular HTML form.
What's
The
the
things that
slash?
are interesting, yeah.
What's the /v syntax at the end of? What's the slash?
So
That's the
this is a V tag, and
Oh, I
that's,
see.
that's just
So-
ending it. A V is actually just a placeholder. It's you have 4 core tags. You have an insertion tag. You have a value tag, and what the value tag allows you to do is have placeholders, and then from your Java code you can actually say what should go there, and then you have a block tag, which actually is still a placeholder, value placeholder, but it doesn't get displayed, and so you can set that as you go along, and then pushes. And you use stuff like that when you're creating like lists and stuff like. We'll see some code that does that. And so yeah, you have a bunch of these, and we basically manipulate this in Java. If we look at the form itself on the app, so user information, and then all these are basically just that form file. Some of the stuff have not come in, so it's still half baked. Right? We can try to use this. Let's see what we get. Let's register Mark. Maybe. implement this. Okay, so that's what you get with the RIFE validation stuff going on, and this is all really simple. I can show you the code that is actually doing this. So in register, we're basically saying that once we initialize the element, we're grabbing our template, which is our register template. We add some resource bundles to it, set some stuff, but I don't think that is working. It's probably not implemented this in there. Over here in do commit, okay, I should make a point here. In our HTML form, we're calling the submission a commit. Right, and so that's the name we've given to it. Once you do this in your implementation, RIFE will look for this. And so if you have, say, authenticate, you can have a do authenticate method, and RIFE will run it as you submit.
Right.
Does that? So you can basically have methods here. It does call. It always calls this a process element. That is always going to be called. But if you have these methods, then it's going to call them for you. So you can have all your submissions and stuff. It's sort of the whole configuration instead of whatever.
So that do commit actually maps to
the
a page
action. Yeah.
a page flow called commit.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a bit like the what's the action instructs that you extend, where you can just you pass the parameter in and it calls it's like the dispatch action basically, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know structs.
It's very similar.
I was just going to ask you that. Yeah, because
Okay, so and all we're doing here is we're actually grabbing Java objects from our submission, and then doing some sort of this maps to that. And so it's just using the RIFE stuff here, validated. Because all submissions, all the beans actually implements stuff like this.
it's Java 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say I'm getting well confused there.
That's the variable arguments, that object beans dot
So
beans. So
one to many beans.
Yeah.
Right.
yeah, it's actually syntax sugar
So
for an array,
For an array. Yeah.
an array, and a array list, or just a
Collection.
Yeah. What
Iterative.
that
Iterative.
basically does is I think it allows me to make the call without having passing
knowing what you're going
as
to
many.
pass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Quickly, is the RIFE itself implemented in 1.5?
It has 1.4, and then so whenever he does a release, Gabe Bevan, who leads this project is he in Belgium?
yeah.
Yeah.
But
And whenever he does a release, yes, he has a 1.5 drop and then a 1.4 drop.
Because small post is still
Doing
old
1.4.
timers.
Yeah, and all this they work across. I mean, if there's a new feature, it's tested on both JDK versions, and so it would definitely work. And then we're calling that, and so once we actually just call validate on the beans over there, they get mapped in there some way somehow by RIFE. And then if it's not validated, we're telling RIFE to just generate the form again, and then we're passing those beans back to it. And so what it does is it looks at the form and it sees where the bean was, and then it marks it if there's an error, basically. And then we tell RIFE to print that template again, and so that's what happened. And if we put in valid values, then we put register. So part B, email address. Password. And that should work. So that's basically created a new user. There's something else I missed. I wanted to talk about with that. This is actually so important. Source metadata. Right. So, RIFE. This is actually how we're saying we're putting our constraints on our beans. We just implement a class, some class metadata. So full metadata maps to your full bean, and then you can just add in all the constraints that you want to add in here, and RIFE sort of merges them when it compiles, when it's running. Basically.
Can you scroll that to the right, because that's quite interesting. It's got, so it's actually, these are like setter references, like an expression language, like the criteria API on Hibernate actually is quite, oh yeah, that's really nice.
And these benefits actually, well, if you decide to use like Hibernate or something for persistence, then you're going to lose out on some of these, because these are mapped to the RIFE persistence layer, basically.
So they know what length the username field should be in the database.
Stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's look at the actual shop. So, just your basic master detail stuff. You can browse the data here. Add that to a cart.
Is this something that you've built, or is this something that's been distributed with RIFE?
Which
The PetStore demo.
no, this is a demo I'm actually still working on.
And how long has it taken you to knock up what you've got so far? Is it
I
rapid?
think on and off. Well, on and off, I would say about a week's worth of work. I actually started this a while ago, and I've not had any time at all to go back to working on a project for Coca-Cola. We just launched that. They're actually having a party today while I'm here.
Oh no.
Yeah, but and so I've had crazy hours, and I've not been able to actually.
No, I was
bang
just
out
interested to know how quick it was to develop.
Really quickly, and you can see that the code is really small. It's not. There's nothing, it's not really serious code going on there, and you got most of the infrastructural stuff done for you already. So a lot of just persistent stuff, and then I'm pulling them out and then showing them here. We can do stuff like that.
I mean, when I looked at the PetStore stuff, they had lots of data access object nonsense going on.
Yeah.
So I guess you chucked all of that away.
I mean, we can. I think I have that on this machine, and you see that you have to actually write your SQL code for all the other databases that they were trying to test against. You don't do any of that here. We're actually using just Java code straight, and RIFE will just map to whatever database you throw at it. It has implementation for a whole range of database. Let's see this here. But when I'm developing, I use Jetty and Derby. I hear Derby jokes today.
Yeah, it's Derby.
Derby. So,
well, for the English.
So let's see my setup. Just wanted to show you how the database is set up, basically.
Okay.
Right. So another thing in RIFE is you have what are called participants. I should have mentioned this earlier. Everything in the web application is a participant. So you have to set up your databases. Those are participants in the web application. You have to set up where your actual website lives. So your website is a participant in the web application. However that works, and that is actually set up here. Where's my? Oops, no. What was I using before? So site.
Would that be another XML file, or is it?
It's actually another XML file here. Okay, I put everything here in the repository. That's the participants XML file. So this is just the configuration. It comes standard with the RIFE framework. So I've not done any changes here. And the data source is just another XML file to map to show. Here. And so these are databases that are set up. And so you can just pick one of the names, drop it in. I'm using that. And so I just tell it to use Derby, and then I have all the mappings and stuff down here already. So I have that. And then I have this is a participant I actually wrote myself. So this is what sets up our DB, and then I have a little one there to put in some test data to test with. This is how they look like. Set up. Schema. Right. So if you try and catch. But yeah, so database users is it comes with RIFE. RIFE has an authentication toolkit already implemented, and this is a class in there. And so I'll demonstrate that you can actually build your site and not have not test with authentication, and then when you're ready to deploy it, or when you're ready to test the authenticated bits, you just drop your file into what set up a group and say that this group should be authenticated, and drop it in there, and it just works out of the box. So that's a class we use, and you just pick up that and say install, and then it creates your database table for you, basically.
It creates the database table.
Yes, it creates a. You don't like that. There's no code in there that actually does any creates or
an insert into in
do
SQL.
does any insertions
Okay.
or anything. It's all through Java code, and this one here basically creates your database based on the fields
Okay.
in your bean.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right,
That's quite.
amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a different way of thinking.
So it's the same thing here. We're just passing the data source name here, and then we pick the account class and install it, and it creates all the stuff we need in the account.
Is there a way of saying which fields and that you don't want to
think
persist,
so,
or?
yeah. I played around with that a bit, had a few problems,
Yeah,
so
well, that maybe.
just decided to go with a plain vanilla one. But yeah, the methods in the API to
You can
actually allow you to
Yeah, okay.
override
Annotation
stuff.
or something.
Yeah.
Like.
And in terms of, well, I'm guessing you could get back at the database and do some indexing and performance tuning and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
you could on your own,
Once you've done
yeah.
the basic installation.
Yeah.
Wow.
If we
Real
look,
out-of-the-box software, isn't it?
if we look at say the which class here would be interesting, the account. Sure. Give me class probably there. And so it's just regular
Getters and settings.
getters and setters. There's nothing in here. It's your old, and then of course you have the account metadata, which specifies what the rules are for the account. So when it's baking that into database side of things, it knows what rules to what constraints to put onto these properties. I wanted to show you the authentication bits, and I'm not doing too good on time, so I'll just slip that in real quick. If we come back to the XML file here, our web participant, website participant, and look at the logged in group. So this basically says that it extends that, which is RIFE's implementation of the authentication bits. You can write your own, but if you want to use it, then this is basically all you have to do. And then you have to just map it onto what form it should pop up if you actually have to log in. And map it onto what the submission should be and stuff like that. So it's basically configuration stuff. Now, once I've created this component, the logged in component or element, I can then come here and create a group and say it inherits from this component. So these are all still RIFE specific tags. This says that this inherits from this element, and so everything that is available here is available here now. And every element that I drop into this group now will force me to go through authentication if the page is not if not already logged in. So if I dropped this out of here, for instance, so if I move that out of there, and then I try to do a checkout on the app. Again, I'm running RIFE in a mode that allows it to pick up changes I make right away, and so I don't have to start and stop it while I'm developing.
I remember when Struts used to do that.
I think that was a reload button action, but it just didn't work after a while with modules with all the changes. So you mean that you've got a session in there right now as Mark B, and it will reload that class.
Well, I don't think we.
Oh, you still have to sign in, right?
We have
Okay.
to sign in.
Okay.
So, but we could implement that.
Yeah.
I mean, you could do that. You could force it to log you in once you've gone through.
Right. Right.
So we could sign in, but we don't have to. Oops. Okay. But we don't have to do that now since I've moved that out. So. Oh, didn't.
Yeah.
Famous last words.
We'll probably have to. So save.
No.
It didn't save.
Okay. Don't put me to shame, right? Let's try that again.
So you moved the roles out of the checkout process.
Yeah, I moved checkout out of that group, and basically what it means is
So
that
you can get a step further without having to sign in.
Without signing in. Let's try that again. Yeah.
Cool. Oh,
So
cool.
that comes here. Except this is not implemented. This is still using. This is just a static template. But yeah, it steps out of the. If we went back in and dropped it in again. Undo.
There's no real sort of having to manage what's in what scope really. I've seen so far. Is it?
Second.
There's
I was just
no
going
real
to say
cost
no
to
request. There's no
manage what's in
request in
what's
session scope, is there?
There's no what?
Well,
Scope request for session.
Oh no. Well, it's probably being implemented. Yeah.
lower down.
Yeah, lower down. But you don't have to deal with it. In the basket, I know I think I'm just dropping a cookie in somewhere just for like the basket's ID, But everything else in this implementation goes to database.
Yeah.
Yeah, its philosophy is like you don't need a session.
No.
Session is bad, so he
Yeah.
doesn't use a session.
It's very difficult to let go once you've got into sort of managing sort of in the scope. So in terms of
I don't think
accepting that another framework would not manage those things
cozy is scroll.
well.
Yeah.
I wonder if he's using continuations under the hood to do some of the stuff, because that was saving the state. It's another way of saving the state.
From what I've seen in here, there's no continuation.
There's no continuation actually. It's when this is ready, there's going to be a bit of continuation for the checkout process. So you can do stuff like partial submits. So you can go to say go to like the credit card page, drop some stuff there, do a submit, and it still stores your data, goes on to the next step, and then you can come back and not have to repost that, and so you still have everything still on there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe I'll just do what methods see if that needs pose and continue.
So we can say post and get.
Yeah.
Huh?
Alright, so going back here, if we try to check out now, then it should pop that up.
Okay.
And, we can go to Mac B, password. And then we'll be able to move on. A few other interesting things in the code, I think. What else? I think that the last thing I wanted to show was what RIFE calls embedded elements. So with the catalog, we actually have where's that? Oops, looking for something. in the catalog, we have for so we're delegating the processing of like products and other stuff down the line. So you have the catalog, and then you have other elements or other components for this. There's a component for the product itself, and that is how we actually lay it out. You have like just that product item that just shows up with like the price and then the add to cart link and all that. That's just one component on its own, and then we're picking that and embedding it multiple times. Still in the if you go back to the HTML template for catalog, so you have like that, which is basically that's the add to cart link, and that's just a class there. And we're showing that in
So this template is nested as many times as required for each product.
Yeah, you just you pick it up once in the in the controller here, if we can call it that, and then just sort of iterate over the number of products we get back in a database, and then just show. Do sort of embed it back in there, and so it's called multiple times whenever you have stuff like lists.
Okay.
Yeah. Fairly simple application. Really easy to build stuff like this with RIFE. It helps you as you go along, and if you know the framework well, you could probably knock this up in 2 days, I guess.
Yeah, it's really rapid stuff, I can see.
Yeah. I'll answer. I mean, I would stop here. It's pretty much stuff like this going on. It's nothing really interesting, so you can knock up simple cut-ups like this easily with RIFE. If you have any questions.